Hello and welcome to Cup of Tea's 3-Minute Reviews. And the time it takes you to brew a cup of tea, we'll cover an entire movie. My name is Tim and I'm joined as always by Michael.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining me. Today's movie is Hot Rod. It is a 2007 action comedy starring Andy Samberg. Michael, please give us your hot take.
Tim, this movie was my cup of tea. Just barely, but there was enough here I liked that I give it a cup of tea. What about you?
This movie was not my cup of tea. It's barely, though. It's just kind of like a half a cup for me. It's almost there, but not quite.
So Tim, what's this one about?
An amateur stuntman sets out to perform his biggest stunt yet in order to afford an expensive heart surgery for his ailing stepfather and to prove his manhood. Michael, you say this was your cup of tea. Please give us a few reasons why.
I'm a big fan of Andy Samberg, Tim.
Yeah.
It was fun to see this moment in his career. He's done SNL, he's done digital shorts, he's transitioning to this long-form, full movie content,
Yeah.
and you got to see that time capsule of his evolution to being the person we love on Brooklyn Nine-Nine and some of his later movies. So it was cool to revisit that moment. That's what I liked most about this film.
I enjoyed that too. I mean, it is a time capsule and there's, I think, a lot of value in that. The trouble is, he's not a good actor yet. He really does not carry a lot of moments in this movie yet. I think the comedy, he mostly does really well with it, but, some of the more serious scenes, oof, ouch.
Yeah, and he certainly drops the ball on a lot of that stuff. And you can see, again, he's just not the guy who's going to show up in Brooklyn Nine-Nine and deliver some of those really heartfelt moments that we really like. Yeah. With that said, everyone around him is acting the hell out of this movie. Yeah. That certainly helped me get over that hump. So there's a lot of work being done by a lot of people. Unfortunately, it's just on Andy Samberg.
No, I think all the supporting players are great. He's surrounded himself by some fantastic actors. And he's surrounded himself by some fantastic stunt people. I really have to call out the stunt work in this movie. It's amazing. So Andy Samberg plays a stuntman who's not very good. He's an amateur and he's not good at it. So when he tries to make a jump over a bus in the opening scene, and he fails. And watching the stuntman fail at his stunt is incredible. It's a lot of failures. And the fact that they fail and do it in a manner that is not life-threatening is unbelievable. There's a scene where he falls down a mountain or falls down a hill. Incredible stunt work. That really worked for me. I really loved the stunts in this film.
When the stunts were happening, that was the best moments of this movie. Yeah. The hill fall you're talking about was a moment that I was laughing out loud. It was totally unexpected, and I was totally captivated. Yeah. All of the stunts added so much energy to this that then when the comedy happens, I was there for it. The downside here, though, if I'm taking the negative, is that a lot of the humor is really juvenile and it's highly repetitive. Yeah. There's a scene with Andy Samberg and his brother. They're sitting there and they're trying to reconcile and they just shout the word cool beans at each other for a minute and a half. They use different accents, they use different cadencing. It's just not that funny to me. And there are a lot of those moments which, over time, he's refined and started to move away from, which is why I think things like Brooklyn Nine-Nine are better.
Yeah, I mean, when he's on his little moped trying to perform stunts, this movie is A-plus material. And those moments in between, they really didn't work for me. I thought they were terrible. And that's why, for me, this movie just doesn't quite sail over that 50% mark. Michael, when should somebody watch the film?
If you're a fan of Andy Samberg, check this one out. There's a lot of good material here that really informs where he goes for Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You see a lot of that stuff being born here, being thought out here, and being explored here. I really like that. What about you, Tim?
I actually would recommend the film. It wasn't my cup of tea, but I think this movie has a lot to offer for a lot of people. Honestly, this movie came out when we were in middle school. I think teenagers in general will love this movie. They'll get a lot out of it. Thank you guys for listening. This has been Cup of Tea's 3-Minute Reviews.